Medvedev says Russia is against enlargement of the nuclear club. He was speaking at a news conference with Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. The two countries have signed key agreements after talks in Moscow. The agreements range on subjects from defence and peaceful nuclear cooperation to others. Earlier, I spoke to our correspondents Karen Singh in New Delhi and Ekaterina Grachova in Moscow, who have both been following these talks.
Russian President and the Indian Prime Minister sealed accords on a number of issues, nuclear technologies, military cooperation in the space. Today they discussed how together they will build pipelines, explore gas fields, and how they will work in space too. From the very beginning, Moscow tried to bring this message, to put it loud and clear, that it not only creates goodwill, but that it wants to offer something to New Delhi, like access to its oil and diamond deposits, as well as to nuclear technologies. And this topic of peaceful nuclear technologies was a particular focus of today's talks. Russian President made it clear again that as far as India and Russia are concerned, two key players of the BRIC bloc, which also includes China and Brazil, so as far as India and Russia are concerned, their main focus is on peaceful nuclear technology.
Russia is certainly not interested in enlargement of the nuclear club. All research must be strictly peaceful. Military nuclear technologies are a separate area, regulated by international conventions.
And despite many have been skeptical about relevant importance of the BRIC nations, figures speak for themselves. It is economies of these countries that have been recovering best of all after this year, which has seen a major economic downturn, financial meltdown. And talking figures, the trade turnover between Russia and India alone in 2010 is expected to be as high as $11 billion. And it's worth mentioning as well that relations, Russia-India relations in the office of Dmitry Medvedev have boosted significantly. It's the third time that the two meet this year alone. And certainly the relationship between Russia and India is not only about selling and buying, it's strategic, historical partnership.
Karan, to you. Both leaders mentioned terrorism as one of their top priorities. What do you think will be done on that?
Well, it's clearly a problem facing both countries, especially in the light of the recent attack on the train between Moscow and St. Petersburg. The Russian president has asked for an international convention against terrorism. That's something that the Indian side would like to see and has agreed with it. Both sides are clearly in agreement that terrorism is a global problem and that steps should be taken by the global community against it.
It's my privilege to say that I entirely endorse what President Medvedev has just now mentioned. That is an indication of how similar are our views when it comes to global, regional and related issues. On counterterrorism, our cooperation can extend to cooperation at the international level. President Medvedev has mentioned the comprehensive convention on counterterrorism. That happens to be one such area.
India is a major victim of terrorism. Just last year we had the Mumbai attacks, which were carried out by groups allegedly operating from Pakistan. The Indian Prime Minister on the way to Moscow had said that he would ask the Russian side to perhaps use their influence on Pakistan to stop terror groups from operating from its soil, which continue to do so. So that's one element. The other element that we've seen in this meeting is the defense relationship, which is something that is a keystone to their partnership. We last year did see an agreement signed between both sides, which would see agreements of about $10 billion signed between India and Russia over the next 10 years. Both sides are developing jointly a fifth-generation aircraft fighter, and this is something that has been the cornerstone of India's relationship with Russia for the last 40 years.
RT's Karen Singh reporting for us live from New Delhi in India. And before that, RT's Ekaterina Grachova reporting from a very snowy Moscow. Now, to talk more about the Russia-India partnership, I am joined in the studio now by Natalia Stapran, a political analyst from Moscow State University of International Relations. Thank you for coming onto our Moscow set, Natalia. President Medvedev has said that he's against a growing nuclear club. But why would he deliver that message to India's Prime Minister when India hasn't even signed the non-proliferation treaty?
You know that, as far as we know, Russia and India have very long-standing relationship between each other, and cooperation in nuclear energy is aimed at peaceful use of nuclear energy, and that is the most important idea of our mutual cooperation in this sphere. And I think that besides this military and defense sphere, which is spoken much about today, we should admit that our economic cooperation and cooperation in other different spheres is also very important today.
Well, you touched on my next point. What are Russia's interests with India? Are they purely economical?
Of course not. Being strategic partners, Russia and India are interested in deepening economic relations anyway. So the target set by the leaders of two countries for 2015, you know, that is $20 billion per year. And to reach this target, two countries should differentiate their trade basket and to develop not only commodities and trade in commodities, but also different cooperation in high-tech technologies. For example, you know, the project in Sakhalin, where Indian company participates actively, and all of those nuclear electric stations in South India is also one of them. Anyway, different spheres of economy are very important for both countries.
Now, the subject of terrorism was touched down upon by both leaders here. What do you think each country can do to combat terrorism?
It's obvious that Russia and India are growing regional powers in Asia-Pacific region. And of course, our partnership should take into account this problem of terrorism, and in this case, this problem is discussed in both countries, and participating in different multilateral organizations such as Shanghai Cooperation Organization and even BRIC organization, where different subjects are discussed. This problem should be solved multilateral, not only on bilateral stand.
Natalia Stapran, political analyst from Moscow State University of International Relations. Thank you very much.